up, my beautiful, powerful patients? This is Tezra, your mental chiropractor, where I'm here to help you realign your mind and take back your power, reclaim your power. And the only way that we can reclaim our power is to take back our hijacked minds. So if you have been here before, thank you so much for returning. And go ahead and make sure you check in. And y'all know when I say check in, I mean go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you are new. And as you are listening to this video, if the content resonates with you, then please go ahead and like and share this video if you please. So people who have been here before and watched my videos, you pretty much know my perspective about, reclaiming our minds. And because the minds that we are thinking with, the majority of us, the minds that we are thinking with is that not the minds that were given to us, right? The minds that we are thinking with are the minds that are programmed by legacy media, corporate media, mainstream media, whatever you want to say, which is run by those behind the paywall, behind the curtain, the faceless ones, the cabals, whatever you want to call them. And so we're going to jump in. I've been covering like Umar and all of his antics, and how his mind is so deeply programmed that he is also damaging the culture with all of his divisive talk and rhetoric and perspective. And so those type of people and those type of examples is what I use to us to recognize, to be able to recognize how our minds are programmed. And through the programming, it seeps into our subconsciousness. And then through the subconsciousness, it just kind of drives our lives. I've used the example or the analogy of driving, right? At first, you're very hyper conscious of everything, but the more and more you do it, the more it just seeps into your subconscious. And then you could get in your car and before you know it, you're at your destination. And I've done this myself. I was like, well, how did I get here? Because now my subconscious is just maneuvering. I don't have to really think about it anymore. And that's the same thing with media messaging. All this divisiveness that they put out there, how they only show one perspective, or how there is a dominating theme. There's a dominating theme, which is like, if you see here, you see this title where it says former Arkansas officer arrested, charged with assault and beating of handcuffed inmate. You want to know how I know that this is not a melanated person? Because it says it in the title. If this had been a melanated person, the title would have read, former Arkansas officer arrested, charged with assault and beating of handcuffed Black inmate. Because that is the programming. That is the coding of the mind. This is how they have created a collective subconscious mind to have a slanted view or to believe in a certain limited way. All the while, you have other stories, like the real stories that are happening out there. They don't get any coverage. And the reason why they don't get any coverage is because it doesn't support the narrative. It doesn't support the agenda. So, but if you think about it, though, it's really fucked up. Because here you have this gentleman right here who was beaten by an officer. Where is his justice? And that's the fucked up part about it. At the end of the day, we are all human beings and we all deserve justice. We all deserve our stories to be told where there is an injustice. You are not going to hear anybody speak out for this young man. And I think that that is something that we should be outraged about. We don't have to be outraged only because it may perhaps be a melanated person. We should be outraged when it's anyone. Anyone. But like I said before, this is how they program the mind. And this is what I want you to start looking at differently. This is where I want you to start gaining a different perspective. Like, why wouldn't this be on the news? This is U.S. news. And let me know, because I don't watch the news. So leave in the comments if you have seen this story covered. This was back in January 22, 2025. That's when this story was released. Let me know, and it's probably only released on the what do you call this? The electronic, or I forget what they call it, but they have two different like news. They have the one that's in print and then the one that is online. And I don't know if this made it to print. But let me know if you heard of this story. Perhaps it was plastered all over the news. And maybe my head was buried in a molehole. I don't know. But I've never heard of this story before. And the question is that we have to start asking is why. And the other question that we have to start asking is, why isn't this man's man-made construct of race mentioned in the title? Former Arkansas officer arrested, charged with assault and beating of handcuffed inmate. So if it's a black inmate, that would have been in the title. Why? Just ask yourselves that one question. Why? Begin to take back our hijacked minds. Because all they want to do is to have a group of people identify with being the victim. Because that's where the division lies. They want to have a group of people, the quote black end quote people, to identify with being the victims. And then the quote white end quote people identify with being the villains. That is where the division is. So let's read a little bit of this story. We can also listen to the audio version, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want to just cover a little bit of it. A former Arkansas police officer who was caught on video beating and handcuffed inmate in the back of his patrol car last year has been arrested and charged with aggravated assault. Now, again, it still doesn't say white inmate, does it? So even if it was a melanated person, and even if they didn't mention it in the title here, which of course we all know they would, but then within the first sentence of this article, it definitely would be mentioned. But again, it isn't. So that's why you know that it wasn't a melanated inmate. Former Jonesboro police officer Joseph Tucker Harris, 29, was arrested on Tuesday on charges of felony charges of aggravated assault, filing a false report, and misdemeanor third-degree battery. Harris was released from a county detention center on $15,000 bond. Harris was fired in August after he was caught on his patrol car camera punching, elbowing, and slamming a car door against the head of a detainee, Billy Lee Coram, who was being transferred from a local hospital back to jail in Craighead County. So I'm going to leave this here, and I'm happy that this officer received the sentence that he did. Because this is unacceptable for anyone. There was not one single solitary march in the streets that I heard of. There was no civil rights activist that spoke on this young man's behalf that I heard of. So the point is, for the mental chiropractor, realigning the mind so we can reclaim our power, is to start seeing. Because now more than ever, It's blatant. It's out there. It's blatant. But you just have to tune in. You have to understand that the perspective that you have is the perspective that they want you to have. And the perspective that they want you to have is like, quote, black, end quote, people, especially men, need to be afraid of police, which is a lie. It is a bold face. I have another video that I'm going to show you where the police is showing unbridled kindness to this guy, to this melanated young man who I think it was his girlfriend that he had just murdered. And they show him unbridled respect and kindness. I'm going to show you that video. And this is all to show how everything, you cannot blindly trust everything that they are showing you, because they're only showing you what they want you to see. There is a slant to everything that we see. And the stories that they don't show us is for a reason, folks, is for a reason. So again, if you made it this far with me, thank you so much. If you like this content, please like and share and subscribe. One little flick of your finger can mean the world to my channel. So thank you so much for rocking with me. This is Tezra, the mental chiropractor, where I'm here to help you realign your mind and reclaim your power. Because once you reclaim your power, then you take over the steering wheel of the car of your life. And then that's when you can start seeing the drastic changes that you want to see in your life. It only happens when you start to begin to take back your hijacked mind and start realigning your mind with the sovereignty of who you actually are. That is where all your power lies. Okay, everybody. So until next time, be empowered and make sure that you subscribe and then hit the notification bell so you'll know when another video is posted. Okay, everyone, stay empowered. Peace.